Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. Steve Ayers from Lifeline Connect. Have a prayer, please.
Let's pray. Lord, again, I just thank you for today. I thank you for the hearts that are here that to serve our community. Lord, I pray that you continue to give them wisdom and guidance, open up their eyes to see the truth that you have. And Lord, I pray that you give them courage and stamina to continue to move forward. Lord, we just thank you and we praise you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Steve. Roll call.
Barth.
Here.
Bassett.
Here.
Beverly.
Here.
Ridgway.
Present.
Martin.
Here.
Klepper.
Here. Yeah, before you, the minutes, the last council meeting, October the 4th, for your approval. Any additions, corrections?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Beverly.
Yes.
Ridgway.
Yes.
Bassett.
Abstain.
Martin.
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Klepper.
Yes.
Yeah, before you, the bills for last month. Any corrections, questions, concerns?
Mayor, I had a question I asked Corey prior to getting fired up here, and I'm good. So if nobody has anything, pay the bills.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Barth.
Abstain.
Bassett.
Yes.
Beverly.
Yes.
Ridgway.
Yes.
Klepper.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to have Cheston, right? First name. Wilson from Energy Optimizers. You've got the, if you can go. Yeah, please.
My name is Cheston Wilson. Like you said, I'm with Energy Optimizers. Thank you for having me here tonight. And this is the lighting proposal that we had our auditor come through and count the lights at the facilities, and this is the cost to retrofit all your lights, your current fluorescent lights and HID lights, to LED. So this proposal covers all the buildings that are listed. The only building that he wasn't able to get into was the wastewater treatment plant, but it covers the city garage, the council building, the fire station, the police station, and water sewage. And then water treatment was the one that we were told was already LED already, and we weren't able to get in. So these are the counts. You'll see the counts in here for each building. If we missed a light in the count, we will still do it. So basically those buildings will be completely LED, interior and exterior. We're a firm of about 30 people. We're located in Dayton, Ohio, and we perform the lighting installs with our own people, and then we also subcontract some of the work, just depending on how busy we are at the time. So we have our own energy engineers, project developers, project managers, and lighting installers. We guarantee the cost, we guarantee the savings, and we also provide you with a 10-year warranty of the bulbs. So after the project is complete, you have a 1-year labor warranty and then a 10-year material warranty. So you'll be given attic stock, you'll be given a chart that shows what type of bulbs are in every single area. So if something were to go out, you know exactly where to go, what bulb to put back in that area. And if something were to go out within the 10 years and you use your attic stock, then you just let us know and we'll replenish your attic stock. So you have that maintenance savings. You're not changing ballasts for 10 years. You're not buying bulbs for 10 years. So there's a lot of savings that go with that on the maintenance side, and then also on the energy side, because you're reducing the wattage that the lamps are pulling. So if you look at page 3, the energy conservation measures, this is the summary of the cost of the project and what's included in the project. So it's broken down by the lighting, the interior retrofits. That's everything for all the buildings that I listed. You see your energy savings, your maintenance savings, the project cost right there at $25,000, and then the simple years payback. So because 7 years is still a good payback, but because of lower burn hours and also you're already using some 28-watt fluorescents as opposed to 32-watt fluorescents, so it's not like your existing fluorescent lighting is that inefficient. So that's why you've got that 7-year payback. And then on the exterior, you've got an even stronger payback of 2 years because you're using a lot of the high-intensity discharge lighting, the HID, the high-pressure sodium, and those types of lights. And then we also always use a checkbook fund. This is meant, we don't use these dollars unless, you know, we run into something like an electrical issue or something that you wanted to add. So we're not going to use these dollars without asking you first. Or, you know, if you come to us with something that you wanted to add to the project, then we can go ahead and use those. If not, on the final billing, then that money just comes back to you, or it's not billed. And then the turnkey project cost is a percentage of the project, and that covers all the soft costs, the project design, engineering, permitting if there is any, which I don't think there is on this one, dumpster fees, disposal of lamps, that sort of thing. So if you were to do the whole project, you've got a 5-year payback, and that's a conservative estimate on the ROI. And then this just goes into a little bit more detail of what lamps, what kind of retrofit we would be doing. The interior retrofit is a tubular retrofit. So for example, in here, we would use the same fixtures. We would just take out the existing tubes, remove the existing ballast, and then direct wire the LED tubes. And then you see the barn light that has a photo cell on it, so it's it comes on automatically. You don't have to worry about turning it on. It comes on when it gets dark. Same with that's a pole light, so we wouldn't replace the poles. We would just replace the head right there that you can see, the pole mount light. And the wall, there's a few different types of wall packs and wall mount fixtures that we would use, and then the flood fixtures for your exterior lights. I think that covers everything. Time frame for the project, whenever the project gets approved, right now we're about 8 weeks out from starting the project, and to do all the buildings would take us, we said approximately a month. It would probably be less than that, but we're just being safe, I guess, to say a month. Any questions?
I do.
Okay.
You guys aren't recommending motion sensors anywhere? Like
no. So on the exterior lights, it's optional. You can do the PIR, which is the motion sensor, or the photocell, which is the daylight sensor. So it's just you could choose whichever you want. Sometimes, like for security purposes, it's better to have it lit all the time at night, or it's better to, turn on as somebody's walking. Either way, you could do either.
So like on the inside here, would you delamp any of these from fluorescent to LED that are a lot brighter? We
might. That would come like as we start the project and like in final engineering. So if we were to say, I can't tell if these are 4 lamps. So if we were to go 4, go down to 2, then we would just reduce that cost on the project. We kind of play it by ear as we go. But we have the foot candle reader to make sure that you have the good light levels, and yeah.
Then do you guys, this is a price for a turnkey. Yes. Do you guys do it where you guys, I know you guys already have your engineering and had people out here do the project design and stuff, but do you guys do it where you just have a cost to sell all the materials to, if we could do it in-house or hire our own local electrician?
We could, yeah. I don't know what that cost would be, but it would be, yeah, we could get that for you.
Any other questions?
If you said 8 weeks out and then a month to do your project, So if we would decide something here soon, the cold wintry days aren't gonna slow you down, huh? Okay.
If anything, it'd probably be after the first of the year then, before you could start, if you're 8 weeks the way it is.
Yeah, so like let's see, the example timeline that I had on here was starting in December. So yeah, just month of December, month of January.
Okay, thoughts, concerns?
Thoughts, I guess, do we have the manpower or the knowledge to do in-house?
Inside here, I wouldn't see. where
Interior
you'd have a
stuff, I mean,
Sure.
the exterior looks like it's kind of a no-brainer with a 2.3-year payback.
All the lights on this building are LED already. The exterior ones on this building, we've swapped them over by ripping out the ballast and just putting LEDs in there. And down at the city garage, all of them except the offices, that leaves us with 24 bulbs, but everything else in the garage and the break room, all the screw-in former incandescents, they're all LEDs now. We've swapped them over already.
So was that in between the time of the audit?
Yes.
Okay, so we would
Yes.
have to update those numbers.
So would this go through, so this is a proposal at this point, but you said like you would adjust based on numbers at the end, I guess, are those rates determined pre-contract signing? So
I mean, it will not be higher than this price, if that makes
So
sense.
it would go through engineering, you guys would go through engineering and.
Final engineering, final
And
procurement,
then
as
you
we
would
procure it.
present a final contract?
Yes, yeah.
When they redid a lot of the electrical down on the police station, they didn't change that over to LED then?
I don't believe so.
They do everything with lights.
Didn't they? I know he was gonna change some where they're on the generator, and he was gonna run new wiring across there.
Well,
There were a lot of
he-
fixtures that were out when I was out down there a couple years ago before Darren did all that.
Well, Chris Taylor did all the lights in the garage. We just switched them out took all the fixtures down, the ballasts and everything out, and we just put in screw-in light bulbs in the
Oh.
garage, and they got LED bulbs in those. There's still some lights out in the other garage that haven't been replaced. I think he just wired, when they put the generator in, he just wired everything on, so when the lights will come on with the generator. But as far as actually putting in new fixtures or fixing fixtures, we didn't do that. I think he did put up one light in that hallway. Just if you come in our entry door.
A lot of time was spent cleaning up that.
Oh, I remember, I still got
fuse
pictures
box.
of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a substantial chunk of money. I think we probably need to look at the budget and know that we have an extra $40,000 to spend this year. But
You guys do the loan program?
We do, yeah, we can, where we would finance it up front and then, yeah.
In a way,
pay
what
for
we
it
had done
through
at the
the
school was,
savings.
let's say if it was $38,000 worth of money out of pocket with, let's just say, 5.5-year payback, you make 5.5 years or 6 years of payments, 5 years of payments.
Yep.
At $8,000 a year, and then
So it's
your
basically
cost savings
self-funding.
pays for the upgrade.
Yes. Mhm.
They used to do that. I didn't know if you guys still did or not.
Yep, we can definitely do that.
How much time do we have before we have to give you a definite yes or no?
Well, so we say pricing is always changing.
Sure.
So it says 30 days from the date of the proposal, but we could update the pricing. I mean, so really, I don't know.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready to get started.
Because I would imagine that we need to call a meeting of a committee and
I thought the committee
budget.
did meet, right?
Pardon?
The committee did meet, right? Street
Yeah.
light?
Mhm.
Okay, so we're now down to the budgeting.
The
part,
budget, okay? and-
Which is happening soon.
Okay, so if you wanted to budget it for next year, that would be an option. If you wanted to go ahead and knock out the exterior, you could do that.
Do you know what kind of interest rate it would be at offhand?
Sorry.
I'd be kind of curious.
Yeah.
I mean, if we had to do a 5-year loan,
Could you
if we had to pay
give us those numbers?
$8,000
I
a year,
could,
it's kind of easy
yeah.
to budget $8,000.
yeah.
If we could find out what the
Sure.
interest rate would be and how things would span out
Yep.
beginning next year, that
Yep.
would be great.
Sure.
Yeah. And then if you could like Eric had proposed, price out just the providing material as well.
Yep, we can do that.
I was reading the school here, you did a kilowatt rate,
They since kilowatt locked in, but that's for the solar field. That
solar
one is.
field, because that's not here. That's-
No, they've done that. They did the solar field out of the school. They
Yeah,
also
I remember that, so.
do the interior lighting, exterior lighting. When she said that if they miss a bulb and it's their fault, they take care of it. They've never issued a change order. That's one of their big things they always talk about. If it's something that they propose and it's their screw up or our screw up, they didn't do enough
Okay.
research, they take care of it.
Yeah.
Have we looked at our street lights?
Have we looked at them?
Did we?
I don't think they did.
The downtown.
The entire village.
Those are AEP.
They're all
Our downtown are LEDs.
Downtown,
Those are LED.
Darren did a few years ago.
But the street lights out like Haver Drive, we just pay a flat fee per light. It doesn't matter if they're high efficiency, it's just the downtown that's, we got a meter on
The
it.
decorative
See
poles.
from space.
One
Okay.
block of lights are all we own.
I was
Okay.
gonna ask Jesse, is your building LED?
No, it is not.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
That or maybe they just couldn't get in that day.
Well, no, they couldn't, but she also said they were told it was LED. It's
Yeah.
not at all.
I don't know where that came from.
It's original stock.
So
That's another,
her people haven't even been able to see what pumps and stuff are in there that could possibly be changed out.
So they probably just looked at lighting at this point. This
Oh,
was the lighting.
Yeah, that's just lighting, yeah.
Okay, all right.
But no, I don't know what day they were here or anything. First I heard about it was late this afternoon, so I don't know what day the building or the
Good.
gate would have been locked.
Okay.
That's a crazy fluke, but I apologize.
That's okay, yeah, I mean, and we can get back out there too.
So everybody knows what's going on and what we got to do next.
Yep.
Okay, that's the main thing.
Responsive. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Justin. Have a safe trip back.
Thanks.
Okay, next on the agenda, boards and commissions, HIX-TV minutes. Any comments on that?
Did Rick get with you, Bill? Okay.
I heard from him today. Your DJ, yeah.
Okay.
I'm in the loop.
apologize, I think last council meeting, there was a switch. They were working on some upgrades and stuff, MediaCom, but I don't think the council meeting was televised or was had some issues with
It
it,
was,
so.
it was unbroadcastable. It turned out when we were doing upgrades at the school to the overall station, MediaCom fella came out and he was checking all of their equipment in the shack behind the library, and he checked the switcher for the feed for the council meeting, and when he reconnected it, he connected 2 wires wrong. So,
Well, hopefully you see it tonight, it's live.
we're on right here, looking good.
But I know we're still working with SMTA to get station in through them with their services and everything, working with Rick and staying on top of that, so hopefully soon.
Okay, any other comments on that committee? Street light and property met October the 7th.
You all seen the minutes from that? What are your, we'll ask full council what your opinions are as far as leasing that ground out. We have a person that does not live here at the time he has lived here, moving back to retire, and he wants to lease that. However, we would have to lease it just like we do the farm ground, correct?
That's absolutely.
So anybody could end up getting it.
That's right.
Are we interested in doing that with that 3 acres out there, or just leave it alone?
I'm for if it brings revenue, why not? It's not making us any.
He would need more than 2 or 3 years, because he's gonna put an investment plan. So-
Right.
So that's what you gotta decide, if you want 10-year, I don't know what you're thinking.
Well, we had thought in committee that, and just speaking amongst the 3 of us, was, nothing less than 3 years. He wants to raise blueberries if this particular person gets it. Our solicitor can He's done enough of these land agreements that he can draw up something that makes it feasible for both, if y'all are good with leasing it. I don't see us using it for a long, long time. I really don't. I don't want to see a pond go out there, so I hope we never use it. So,
What's the thoughts of the council?
I agree with Ron.
If that's the case, I guess why are we holding on to it?
well, we may be forced into something. Because we don't want to doesn't mean that EPA says we're going to. You know how they work with us. And that is the last piece out there that would be an option for us for that retention.
What was the going rate for the one out by Industrial Drive? $100 an acre or something? It's not.
It's 165 or something.
165.
I don't think he's paying that much.
100, 150?
Yeah, give or take somewhere around 100.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Blueberries are good.
So,
Do we want to have a show of hands?
Just leave it alone.
I can entertain a motion to
Yeah.
start the process.
I think we would need to obviously understand, or we would have to draft it that should something be required, or should we decide, I mean, how do you do that with the terms of the lease?
Well, you could draft it. I mean, the question is it cost prohibitive because you're talking about, you know, $300 a year or something to lease it or whatever. And if you put something in there that says on, you know, whatever, no matter what you put on 90 days notice, or even if you put it as a 5-year contract on 90 days notice that it's required for, you know, village purposes, we can terminate this and vacate it, but we'll have to, I mean, we're gonna have to pay him in order to do that. So, you know, if he pays us $300 a month for 4 years and we made $1,200, but we gotta pay him $3,000 to get out of it, that doesn't make much sense. I mean, that would be the only concern. Normally, you would build in something that says, hey, we can get out of this at any time, but if we do, like normally, if you're talking like farmland, you'd say, any crops that are in the field that have to be, you know, we'll pay you whatever the value of those crops are and stuff. And when you're only getting $300 a month from somebody,
Is it a month?
No, a year.
I was gonna say 300 a year.
Yeah,
Sorry.
$300 a month would be pretty good.
Yeah.
300 a year.
Let me ask you this, solicitor, being our legal guidance through life, is it worth messing around with 3 acres?
That's a business decision, but my personal guess would be no. Not for that kind of money, and
Okay.
and the concern that the EPA could come to you a month from now and say, hey, we changed our mind, we're gonna need that, and you're like, oh, we just leased it for 5
Well,
years.
we can't build it there because they've been dumping motor oil in there.
Yeah. We gotta wait till the blueberries are done, then we can take them
Wait
off,
till the
so
season.
we don't have to pay him for the,
All right.
that would be the.
I changed my vote, no.
I'm gonna ask a question, correct me if I'm wrong, because that initial project out there, was that retention pond part of the first project that we were looking at with the swells and everything on the backside of Antwerp? Remember all that?
That was the first plan to separate
Right.
that area.
And it was swells with retention, holding back the water and then slow release, so
But since we put new sewer in there, you think they
we
still
went
might
a whole
push it?
different plan.
I don't think it's been flooding, but what the EPA or anybody else would say,
The
I'm
part
just
that I
saying-
heard was, excuse me, go ahead.
I was just saying, the initial, one of the designs was that swell with retention and everything, then it switched over with separation up in the road area, so that, and we still own it, but it might be more advantageous to take a look at if that retention's ever needed, is that the best place for it if we ever change plans? And if not, then
The thing
we don't need
that
it.
Todd, with Nagel, who put that original storm sewer in down Antwerp Drive, what he told me one day, because we had said something about that being back there and available for retention, he said, if you ever start feeding this too hard, you need that, just to let it back up in there.
Okay.
And since I ever agreed with engineers saying that we should have a retention pond, it should be piped into that. But just like now, we want to bring Arthur Street out, we want to do some other, we put Chicago into it, we put High Street. There may come a day when we want to run a pipe and put a retention back there just for when she comes so hard that it's got a place to back off to.
So am I hearing that we're not interested in leasing? Is that?
Sure turned that way quick.
Yeah, well, that's why.
I say leave as is.
Yeah, say the same.
Guess we don't need
I
a
do believe
motion
we
or
just-
anything, it's just,
Advertised that the other farm ground is, we're accepting bids for that, right? Or did that deadline pass?
okay.
That was in the paper.
I'll inform the
30th.
gentleman
Got
tomorrow.
22 acres for lease out there at Industrial Drive you might look at for blueberries.
That's not quite as nice a ground as what's out there.
Yeah, big difference. It's okay, I'll contact him right now, we're not interested.
Okay, all righty.
The change, but okay.
Sure.
I'll do that tomorrow, thanks. Water and sewer met October the 4th.
Yep.
And also.
We met before the last council meeting. I addressed all this stuff at the council meeting, but this is to put more into writing impact for everyone to have it in the minutes. Everything you see there is pretty much accurate. I know we had another water and sewer meeting this evening before council. Jesse came to address some things about the water department and some of the things she needs with some sampling in our community. We are also looking for a sanitary superintendent. Jeff Ruppel has submitted his resume. Corey's working with some, we gotta probably, if we don't find anybody in time, we have to hire IFM to come in and for our Class 2 operation, and they have to pay them. So we looked at their contracts. Corey's currently submitting internet applications and newspaper ads to find a Class 2 operator for the plant. So looking at that, and then I think that was it, really. Jesse wanted to bring, talk about the sampling in the community. You want her to do that now, or you want her to wait till later in the meeting?
Do her now.
You're up, Jesse.
So I've come before council before and talked to, really address the public, trying to get people to volunteer to be part of our lead and copper sampling program. It's something that's mandated upon us by the federal EPA. It is different from every other water quality test we have to do for the community in that I do not collect the samples, I merely the messenger. The samples required to be taken out of individual homes because we're testing how our water is affecting interior plumbing. We want to make sure our water is not corrosive. That's essentially the point of the program. I know the news over the last 5 years, so everyone's heard about lead corrosion or lead contamination. Obviously, we don't want to fall into that, and it's a trending sampling. So we're just watching it year to year, making sure that we're still maintaining where we're at and we're not getting corrosive. So I've come here before and I've asked people to go on our website, fill out the questionnaire, please volunteer to be part of this program. And in the last 3 years of asking that, I've gotten one volunteer who is a village employee. So really no one from the public outside of our own little family here. So my stockpile of available sites, people who volunteered in the past, people who cooperate, this year or last year, we're really down to bare bones, and we've got the questionnaire on the website still. I'm just not getting volunteers. But it's federal and state mandated. I have to collect, a certain number of samples, and the trick is there's criteria the plumbing has to meet. So not just everybody who volunteers can be used as a sampling site. So, I want to get in 100 volunteers and hope that I can use 50 of them, kind of thing. So, in years past, I've stood up here and begged, and it hasn't worked. Like I said, I've gotten one, and that was one of our own employees, or one that I could use. I want to take that back. I've had a few people approach me, but I can't use those sites. They don't meet the criteria. So I approached the committee tonight and asked if we could do an incentive program with the lead sampling program. And essentially, it would work that if you participate in our program for that year, because I only have to take these samples once a year, if you participate, you get a $20 credit on your next utility bill. Now again, if I get 50 people in that meet the requirements and are usable sample sites, I'm still only going to use 25 a year. So I guess I want, if you guys pass this, I do want the public to understand that just because you volunteer doesn't mean you're getting the $20 credit every year. Okay, it's just those 25, roughly 25. Now the number can fluctuate from year to year, but it's just those people that are chosen to participate every year. And again, there's different criteria on, even if I have a list of 100, there's some sites that I have to use first because of what their plumbing is. Just because I'm crossing my fingers and hoping you guys approve this, for the public's knowledge, the ideal interior plumbing I'm looking for, please volunteer, is if your plumbing was installed between 1983 and 1988. And while I realize that's only a 5-year window, that plumbing, if it's copper, which it would be at that time, or lead, if your internal plumbing is lead, please be the first one to sign up, because that's what I need. But 83 to 89, or I'm sorry, 83 to 88, that's lead solder in the, if you have copper plumbing, that's exactly what the EPA is looking for. Those are the sites we want to test because they're the most reactive if our water's corrosive. So they want to see like the worst case scenario. That's what they're looking for. Now I realize that that's a 5-year span and we're a bit of an older community structure-wise. So anyone with plumbing before 1983, also welcome to sign up. That's currently the bulk of the sample sites I'm using are prior to 83. Just puts me in a different tier, and again, I have to use those 83 to 88s first, but then I can go into the rest of the list that's prior to 83. And that's not necessarily your home construction date, that's your last plumbing update. So if you've got one of these historic homes from 1900, 1920, that's okay. I'm sure plumbing's been attended to somewhere along the way. As long as it's 88 and before, I really need these sample sites. We are right down to the wire on having a pool to pick from. And every year, for different reasons, people update their plumbing to plastic. I can't use anyone with plastic in internal plumbing. So they come off the list. And then I got to go to another reserve, and we've just dwindled this down a lot. I mean, I like to send out 25 bottles every year. I have 26 max potential left on the list, and that's if everyone would cooperate.
Jesse, can you elaborate just for public purposes? I know we talked about it, but what exactly does the test look like?
Okay, yeah, I wish I'd have brought one of the bottles now, in hindsight, but it really just looks like an old milk quart. It's a plastic bottle, and you put water in it first thing in the morning. You're not mixing any chemicals, reagents, nothing. I draw a line on the bottle, and you got to put water higher than that. And
so it's a pretty complex process.
Oh, seriously complex. But no, and the thing that trips a lot of people up, so I'll just throw it out there, your water can't run for 6 hours prior to the test. That's why we encourage people to do it first thing in the morning. But really, if you've been at work all day and nobody's at home, it could be when you first get home from work. It just has to be the water has not moved through your plumbing in 6 hours. And I drop the bottle off on your porch in a grocery bag with instructions in the bag. For example, on a Tuesday, Wednesday morning, I come back. If you put it back on your porch, I collect the bottle and take it back to the water plant. But that's really all there is to it. I give you the bottle. I give you the instructions. When you wake up in the morning, before you run any water, put some water in this bottle. Put it back on your porch.
A question about that though, because don't you ask them within the survey of what kind of, you've never been in their home maybe,
right?
But you have to ask people what kind of plumbing they have.
Right.
Right? You've got, okay, somebody like me, I'm not very mechanically inclined. I might struggle with knowing lead, copper. I know what copper and lead is, but you know what I'm saying? Some people wouldn't realize.
Right. If you want to volunteer, fill out the questionnaire online to the best of your abilities. When you bring it back in, just put a note on there. I'll come look at your plumbing myself. I'm eager to get more customers involved in this program, you get a free, as a customer, you get a free lead result. You get a sample run for free, and you get the result, you know the status of your plumbing. And now I'd like you guys to approve offering a $20 credit on their bill. And that would be a one-time credit per year. And again, it may not be every year because the criteria I have to meet, you know, certain ones in this category have to be sampled each year, and then I can go to the rest of the pool. So it may not be the same 25 people every year, but they also do want to see trending, so we try to do them the same. It varies.
Is this just for residential only and no businesses?
Correct. Single-family homes, preferably homeowners, because the risk and part of the problem we've run into is if your rental property is unoccupied all of a sudden. Right now, during my sampling period, I don't have anyone to get that sample for me.
So you had mentioned in the meeting you're looking to get volunteers as soon as possible to build a list.
Mm-hmm.
The next testing is not till next spring, correct?
The next testing cycle is July, August, September. But I need this list populated before the spring because I have to submit these locations to the EPA so that they can say, yes, those meet the criteria. So I really need this done sooner rather than later. I need volunteers sooner rather than later.
Do you get your water from an outside spigot? Or has to be in the house?
You can. It's less accurate if you use outside spigot. Just if you think about it's not softened, correct, but that hose bib, that spigot that supplies that, water hasn't gone through there in a while for most people. It's not like we use those every single day. So you want some, you're going to use a faucet in your house, typically, that has not run for 6 hours, but hasn't been stagnant for more than 12.
Because I was wondering if you could go up to the house and collect it yourself. I mean,
No, I can't, because I cannot attest and sign my name to say that that water has not run for 6 hours or that it hasn't been stagnant for more than 12. That's why I need them to fill that in. And like I said, on our website, and I just verified today, made sure it was updated, ready to go, there's a questionnaire. I don't know if you guys can see it from here. Really big spacing, really big writing, because there's just not that many questions you have to answer. And most of it boils down to 2 questions. What type of material is your plumbing? And again, if you don't know, volunteer, I'll come out and look at it. And what age is it? No, go ahead.
Can they send that out with the water bill with the information about if we approve the $20?
Yes.
You did that before, right?
Right, we have done that before. We've sent this form out. Now, we've talked about in committee today, if this gets approved, we would send a mailer with the next bill explaining the incentive, explaining the credit, and then having this on the backside of it, the questionnaire.
Now, when you did that the last time, did you have very many people sign up?
No. I think we got 4. And 1 met the criteria. So again, we're losing people out of the pool at such a faster rate than what we're getting people back into the pool. And now we're down to a critical level, barely having enough.
I make a motion to approve the credit request.
I'll second it.
Water superintendent.
Got a first and second. Any other discussion?
I think it's a good idea.
I think we're trying to provide quality water. We're trying to protect people. You know, we don't go into people's homes. We're asking people if, you know, you have a concern, a worry, or anything like that. This is a way to get something tested and looked at.
What happens if the lead is high? And then that's a lot of expense for the homeowner, right? Could be.
Not necessarily. That's something we actually still need to talk about in committee. We talked a little bit about it tonight. But if one individual home is high, you're going to get information mailed to you from the health department, from the EPA. It's going to tell you, you know, go get your blood level tested. But as far as what it does for the village, 1 or even 2 high levels do not affect anything we do. Out of the number of samples, you know, if I'm taking 20 samples, 1 or 2 can peak high, and it doesn't put us in any violation or anything like that.
Is there any lead service lines going in the houses, do you know of?
One.
One.
And before the next testing cycle, none.
Okay.
It's already planned to be.
That she knows of.
He asked, that I know of. I listened.
Okay, so we got first, second, any other discussion? Roll call.
Barth,
Yes?
Bassett,
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
Ridgway,
Yes.
Klepper,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Jessica.
Thanks, Jess.
Please volunteer.
Okay, administrators report, Corey?
I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look it over. Like Mike said a little bit ago, we are looking for a wastewater treatment plant superintendent with a Class 2 operator's license as soon as possible. Jones and Henry did send an update. It's in the packet there, kind of what the timeline's looking like. Loop paving was in and did a lot of asphalt patching in town. They finally got to the cut across there in front of Hometown Pizza, so that's hopefully remedied. I did go ahead and added the response from Eric Fenning from ODOT about the stop sign that everybody seems to be talking about there on 18. And then, as Jesse mentioned, well number 3 had went down early on Thursday morning, but it is now officially back up and running. And we had a pump in the lift station, the Hillbrook lift station on Denon Drive went down. So we've been running on one pump for the past week, and today that second pump was pulled and the new one was put in. So the old one will be either sent out for a rebuild, or we will just order a new one. Other than that.
Any questions for Corey? Concerns?
We're prepped and ready for snow. We're getting there.
Yes and no. We're in leaf season mode now.
Won't be long.
And remind people not to rake it out in the road.
Yeah, don't rake your leaves in the road.
How's leaf pickup going?
I think today they spent probably about maybe 2 hours. There hasn't been much out there, but we're out every day. Even if we don't find any piles, we still go out first thing in the morning, and then they'll go out later in the afternoon, just looking for them. So the peak has not hit.
Have you heard of anyone interested in the superintendent position?
I was gonna ask you, but no. Nope, not yet. It went on the OML page. Well, it was submitted to them on Friday. Today, the Crescent News it was submitted to that. Then tomorrow I'll get it put on Indeed, and then there was a couple other websites as well. OTCO, it'll be on there tomorrow, hopefully, and AWWA.
Okay. Any other questions for Corey? Thanks, Corey.
Thank you.
Solicitor's report, Troy.
First thing I have is ordinance 2021-15, second reading by caption only, ordinance establishing pay range for village employees. And next is resolution 2021-23, third reading by caption only, a resolution of the village of Hicksville, Ohio to sell lot 55 of Edgerton's first addition to the village of Hicksville.
Any discussion on that before we get a first or second?
Does that have to, I guess, have we made any arrangements to actually, for the sale itself? So we're just passing legislation, and then do we have to, obviously we'll have to probably bring legislation to
enter into like the contract, and this, yeah, this is just that it's no longer needed and that we can sell it at public auction, so then if we get something, then we'll have to pass it. And remember, I'm still working on finalizing, but we're gonna have to get something formal from the county. We've been talking about it to do with their reversion that was in the deed about if it's not used for public purposes or whatever, reverting back to the county. So I'm working on that. So the fact that it's taken a little bit of time is probably not bad.
Okay. Ready for a first or second?
I'll make that motion.
A second?
Second.
Roll call.
Ridgway,
Yes.
Martin.
Yeah.
Klepper.
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Bassett.
Yes.
Beverly.
Yep.
And I told, I got in here about halfway through the committee meeting beforehand, and it came up while we were in there. The question has been asked a couple of times if the Wellfield site that we annexed at the end of last year, that one was, hadn't showed up on the auditor records or whatnot. Anybody that, I don't know how often people try to use that. I know a lot of people do. It's been down. They tell me it's gonna be back up in 5 or 6 days is what they told me today when I called. But there's a cycle on that process as far as once things like annexations or lot splits and things like that are done, as far as the paperwork going in and going through the computer and all that stuff. And they usually are, that stuff all gets done in the fall of the year after it happened. So as of September 30th was the day she told me all that stuff is in there. So when the computer does finally kick back up, if anybody goes in there and looks at the information, it'll show that it's been annexed to the village, where the well field and everything is there. I know that was a question that was raised. The our sale out there, I just got an email from Bruce today. There had been where the buyer was adding on and the third party was going to be on the contract with them. Now evidently that's not happening, so there's still some changes in the work. We may get to the point where we got to do an extension or something on that just to get through all the bank process, but I'll stay in touch with Bruce on that and work through and make sure that's headed the right way. Our purchase out on Defiance Avenue, I just got the information from Mr. Panico, some phone numbers, but I would expect that should be done pretty quickly, and I'll stay in contact with Cheryl because primarily from our end there may be some paperwork that the mayor's got to sign, and then the big thing obviously is we'll have to wire transfer our money or whatever when we get to that point, and they'll get a hold of Mr. Panico about getting his signature whenever it's needed.
Okay, any questions for Troy? Okay, department heads. Chief Denny.
I don't really have much except for we are going to purchase a prisoner seat for the back of the 2018 SUV. Cheryl looked into it. COVID money's going to pay for that. We had an individual that we arrested. He urinated in our back seat, and we cannot get the smell out now. So we're going to go to the prisoner plastic seats like we have in the 2 new cars we got. That way we can sanitize them and be able to clean them a little bit better. So I think it was between $1,200 and $1,500, wasn't it, Cheryl?
$1,210, I think.
$1,210. That'll be from statewide court. So other than that, I don't really have anything.
Chief, would you be able to start providing like a monthly update? Obviously, you give us an update on the calls, but a breakdown of general, I guess, descriptions of the call, kind of classification. I know you've done that before, where it's, we've got this many domestic violence calls, this many drug patrols, speeding tickets, that sort of thing. Would you be able to provide that?
Yeah, I can probably break it down. I mean, it depends on, I guess, exactly what you want. I mean, I can go through every call. I mean, is something specific that you want?
More generalizations, obviously, our call counts always seem very high for a small town as we have, and more just curious about the general nature of the calls, and if we're seeing repeats on a lot of stuff, what we as a council can do to maybe start taking steps towards alleviating some of those issues.
Okay.
We could talk a few more specifics
I'm
after.
trying to think, because that would be just giving you every single call.
Was your program, like your software or whatever, have something where you can, by date or whatever,
Yeah, I can
break
go
down?
like domestic violence. I can break it down for what we had for that month.
Yeah.
Assaults.
Yeah.
Speed tickets. That. I guess that's what I'm saying. Which ones are you looking for more than anything? So.
So you do have the ability.
Yeah, there is
we
the
can talk a
ability
little bit
to
more.
do it.
Yeah.
So, because that's all, when we give you the call for service numbers and the cases, that's how we figure it. We go from, we say this month to this month, and it gives us everything that we've done for that month.
Okay.
So it just gives us a number, so.
Perfect.
So, but yeah, we can do that.
Great.
Okay, any other questions for the chief? Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks. Fire and EMS, I don't see anybody there. Anybody on that committee have any information?
I haven't heard anything since our last meeting.
Val texted me early, park director, sounds like they're just closing up things at the park, so she really didn't have anything to report, unless somebody else. Okay. Cheryl, your officer's report, fiscal officer.
Yeah, mine is short this time. I gave you your fund status and your cash summary by fund. Everything's normal. You have the mayor's court report, which was a lot of tickets, $904. I also put in the November calendar, because there's a lot of stuff going on next month. So I gave everybody one.
Okay. Any questions for Cheryl?
We have a finance meeting, I'm not part of finance, with the finance, budgeting and stuff, when's our next meeting? Go look at.
That's my question too.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right.
We just got first round of budgets here Friday or Thursday. So obviously we had the weekend I figured we would talk tonight too.
Yeah, we just got a breakdown on our desk today, so.
Check everybody's schedules and get something booked, so.
Okay. Any other questions?
Will you guys be able to, or are you going to look into this and look into her idea, or your idea of financing?
Absolutely.
Once you
She
find
gets
out
more
what the
information
rates
back
and
from
stuff.
Corey.
Yeah.
See what Corey can do in-house to.
Yeah.
Nice to use your cost savings to pay for the project. I mean.
Yeah.
Well, another thing you gotta look at, if Corey's guys have time to become electricians, what have they been doing? And we had 2 weeks and 2 bulbs got changed at the sewer plant.
I think it'd just be a good rainy day project.
Okay. My report, Christmas cruise through is gonna be here before you know it, and they need lots of volunteers, I'm sure. I need to call and go down.
Did you ever find out if they were gonna have a meeting?
With the sheriff? I
Or with,
Us, them, yeah, everybody.
yeah, I mean.
mean, for the fireworks that night for,
Barbecue and everything.
I reached out to the sheriff a month ago, haven't heard, so I'll follow up with that.
Well, really, I mean, whoever the head of it is who we should be reaching out to, because they're the ones.
It's, Ed Carrier, is that his name? Is the president. I did call him probably 6 weeks ago, but I'll reach out again.
Yeah, I'm sure they're probably just worried about getting lights hung at this point, but I think it's something that we definitely
Because I think it
sit down and
starts in
discuss.
November, right? Some of the.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yep.
I
haven't,
think it starts before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it does.
Mhm.
so I'll give Ed a call. A week from tomorrow is the election. It's coming quick, so 2 weeks from now. Encourage everybody to do their homework on the candidates, even the school board, council seats, and get out and vote. So I foresee a small turnout, I'm just guessing, but I'd like to see people get out and vote. Okay, you need anything?
Just trying to set up the date for the.
Okay, anything else needs to be brought before this council?
Do you have anything you talked earlier about executive taken care of.
Exactly. Wasn't me. Executive.
Yeah, let me talk to this marathon. Or behind the building.
Oh, I didn't know, I thought we were gonna talk about it at our meeting.
Okay.
I'll talk to you.
You all set?
Yep.
Okay. Anything else needs to be brought up?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Is that
You put him
Charlie?
in charge, didn't you? Huh? I seen that.
Beverly?
Yes, ma'am.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Bassett?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
Klepper?
Yes. Meeting adjourned. Thanks.